If your practice relies on bursts of referrals, the occasional ad campaign, or just hoping people find you on Google, you're not alone. But here's the truth. Hoping is not a marketing strategy. Today, I want to challenge you to stop thinking like a clinician or a technician when it comes to marketing and start thinking like a systems builder. Because if you want consistent patients, you need consistent systems. Let me show you what that actually looks like inside of a real-world private practice. Now, I know what you may be thinking, systems, that sounds complicated, but stay with me. A system doesn't mean overhauling everything you do. It means organizing everything you already do into something that works predictably. Think of it like a recipe. You don't just throw ingredients into a pot and hope for the best. You follow steps every time so that you get the same great result. That's exactly what we're building today for your practice. Most practices think of marketing as a list of tasks. Post to social media, run a Google ad, send a newsletter. But high growth practices think in systems. A system means every piece has a role. There's a way to get attention, a way to build trust, a way to capture leads, and a way to nurture them until they book. This is the same way you build a clinical protocol. You don't just try random things and hope the patient gets better. You follow a process. Marketing is the same. You need a patient acquisition process that is repeatable, trackable, and scalable. Let's unpack that a little bit. Repeatable means you're not reinventing the wheel every month, wondering what to post or which ad to run. Trackable means you know what's working. Was it the email blast that got you 5 consults, or was it the Google ad? And scalable means you're ready to grow. You can turn up the dial without burning out your team or your budget. I'll give you an example. I was working with a therapist who spent hours every week posting on Instagram trying to keep up with trends. She was exhausted and her bookings weren't even tied to those posts. When we shifted her to a system, focused emails, and one clear ad, she not only got her time back, but also doubled her consults. That is the power of thinking in systems. So let's break down what we use inside the practices that we consult with. This is what we call the 5-point clarity framework, and it answers 5 key questions that your marketing must address. Number 1, who are we talking to? Too many practices say we help everyone. No, get specific. Are you working with teens with anxiety, postpartum mothers, high-stress professionals? Because your messaging, offers, and platforms should be tailored to that person. When we got specific about audience with one clinic, their ads actually got cheaper because they weren't competing for every keyword under the sun, only the ones that mattered. Here's why this matters. When you try to speak to everyone, you blend into the noise. But when you're specific, you become a signal. One of our clients, a pediatric therapy practice, narrowed their focus to parents of kids with sensory issues. They rewrote their website to speak directly to those parents' fears and hopes. Within weeks, their organic traffic jumped 30% because Google saw them as relevant. Specificity is your superpower. Number 2, what makes us different? You don't need to be the cheapest, you need to be the clearest. What do you do that other clinics don't? Faster intake, insurance-friendly, whole person care. Your differentiator often isn't clinical, it's operational. Don't just say what you do. Say why it matters to them. If you solve a problem and make it feel urgent and specific, they lean in. Let me give you another example. A chiropractic clinic that we worked with was struggling to stand out in a very crowded market. They offered the same adjustments as everybody else, and so we dug a little deeper and found their edge. They had a 24-hour callback guarantee for new patients. No one else was doing that. So we made it the centerpiece of their marketing, care that doesn't make you wait. Their lead form submissions went up 40% because patients felt prioritized before they even walked in. Your difference doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be clear. Number 3, are we visible? Are you showing up where your patients are actually looking? For many of my clients, it's Google search and community-driven content. But we test this. This is not a guess. So you do not need to be everywhere. You need to pick 1 or 2 strategic channels and own them. We cut one client's content creation by focusing only on Google search, emails, and 2 repurposed videos of content a month. This is a game changer because it saves you time and money. Spreading yourself thin across TikTok and Instagram and Google and blogs and YouTube is a recipe for burnout. Instead, pick your battles. If your patients are searching on Google, double down there. If they're active in local parenting groups, show up there with value-driven posts. One wellness clinic we worked with stopped all social media and focused entirely on SEO and webinars, and they actually had an increase in patient acquisition because they were showing up where it mattered. So think about where you truly need to be, not everywhere you can be. Number 4, How to turn interest into action. Most people who visit your website or click on an ad won't book on the spot, so you need lead capture. This could be a free phone consult, an insurance check, a downloadable checklist, anything that gets them one step closer to booking. Your front desk is a part of your booking system. So is the welcome email. So is the booking page. If one of those is off, the whole system leaks. Let's talk about those leaks for a second. Imagine you're running ads and 100 people click to your site. If your booking page is confusing or your front staff isn't trained to handle all those inquiries, you're losing potential patients. We had a client whose front desk was answering with just hello, like no branding, no welcoming, no warmth. So we gave them a simple script. And just by doing that, we actually saw bookings increase 15%. Every single touch point is a chance to convert. Do not let those opportunities slip through the cracks. 5. What drives repeatable results? Once you have a pipeline that's working, systematize it. Build out the automations for follow-up, create a content calendar, set your KPIs, train your front desk on call scripts. Your job is no longer to do marketing, your job is to drive the system that runs the growth. This is where you move from guessing to measuring, and from burnout to bandwidth. Systems free you up to get back to what matters most, which is helping your patients. One practice owner told me, I used to feel like marketing was this black hole of time. We set up an email sequence that automatically followed up with leads who didn't book right away. It included a video from the doctor, a patient testimonial, and a clear call to action. That automation brought in 3 extra patients that month with 0 extra effort. Systems like that can turn your marketing into a machine that you can trust. Let me share with you a quick story. So we were working with a functional medicine clinic, and they were posting to Instagram 3 times a week, running a couple Facebook ads, and getting patients in here and there, but it was all very reactive. So we applied this framework. We narrowed their audience, redid their homepage, started collecting leads with a free anti-inflammatory guide, and ran Google search ads for their key services. They ended up going from 8 to 10 new patients a month to 28 new patients in 60 days. But even more importantly than that, they knew exactly why, and they could repeat it. I've seen this play out over and over. I used to work with practices that had everything in place. They had the teams and the system and the credibility, but they couldn't drive growth, and it drove them crazy. And that's when I realized that marketing doesn't work when it's built on hustle. It works when it's built on infrastructure. And so that became my mission, to help practices build a machine that they can trust. Bottom line, don't just add more tactics, build the system. We've built these frameworks inside of wellness clinics, psych practices, even multi-locational groups. If you want help mapping out a system that fits your goals and your teams, feel free to book a free growth strategy session with me. I'll walk you through your current gaps and show you how to go from scattered to scalable. Link is below, and if this helped, hit subscribe, drop a comment of where your system needs the most work. I read every single one.